As the Red Army descended on Berlin from the east and the Allies approached from the west, Hitler's inner circle had gathered in a bunker near the Reich chancellery in central Berlin. These high-ranking officials of the Nazi Party and its military force would all be accounted for after the war, either captured or killed, except one, Heinrich Muller, leader of the Gestapo, a man with unlimited power, central role in Hitler's final solution. This combined with his other roles in the regime made him a large target for the Allies, who would be sure he stood trial side by side with his compatriots. But his final sighting and subsequent disappearance have gone unsolved for the better part of a century and have spurred debates and theories as to his whereabouts and ultimate fate. Muller was born in Munich on the 28th of April 1900. Before the outbreak of the First World War, Muller completed his apprenticeship as an aircraft mechanic, going on to serve as a pilot for an artillery spotting corps during the close of the First World War. He would be highly decorated for bravery, receiving the Iron Cross and a Bavarian Military Merit Cross. After the war, Muller joined the Bavarian police and was involved in suppressing communist uprisings throughout the state. This would fuel his hatred of communism. Although a supporter of the Bavarian People's Party, Muller would come to know members of the NSDAP, among them Heinrich Himmler and Reinhard Heydrich. In 1933, when the Nazis seized power, Muller was promoted to criminal inspector, as he was respected by the likes of Heydrich, who was aware of his anti-communist views and military past. Despite not aligning with the views of the Nazi Party and even going as far as to mock them privately, he was determined to serve the German state regardless of its political form. Heydrich, head of the secret police, recruited three men, Muller, Franz Huber, and Joseph Messinger. They would become known as the Bavarian Brigade. By 1936, Heydrich had become head of the Gestapo and Muller its operations chief. In January of 1937, a Nazi-sponsored evaluation of Muller was carried out. It read the following. Criminal Police Chief Inspector Heinrich Muller is not a party member. He has also never actively worked within the party or in one of its ancillary organizations. Bavaria cannot, therefore, recommend accelerated promotion for Muller because he has rendered no service to the national uprising. Despite this, Heydrich's confidence in Muller moved him along the ranks rapidly, progressing to the rank of colonel by the end of 1937. Muller would be committed to his work more than anything. He was described as ruthless, and the commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolf Höss, claimed he could be reached any time, any day. In 1938, Muller was given the role of inspector of the security police for all of Austria. His first act, rounding up 30,000 Jews during the Kristallnacht pogrom. It was around this time he became a member of the Nazi Party for the sole purpose of improving his chances of promotion. Despite this, he viewed the Soviet Stalinist system as superior to the Nazi system, and Stalin as a superior leader. As the German police organizations were consolidated under Heydrich's command to form the Reich Security Main Office, Muller would be made chief of the 4th Department, the Gestapo. Muller was strongly trusted by both Himmler and Heydrich, and was pivotal in infiltrating and destroying Nazi-opposed groups. Himmler, Heydrich and Muller would then mastermind Operation Himmler, a false flag mission to make it appear as if the Polish had instigated an attack against Germany, giving them the pretext to launch an invasion. The plan worked flawlessly. Muller would continue to wield an iron fist. He instructed an SS officer, Adolf Eichmann, to deport 70,000 Jews from Poland. Eichmann would later be known as one of the main organizers of the Holocaust. As the chief responsible for the police force, Muller was fully in charge of the execution of millions of Jews when the order came down the line from Hitler. On top of this, he would receive detailed reports from his subordinate Eichmann about the Einsatzgruppen Death Squad, who were responsible for the deaths of 2 million Jews between 1941 and 1945. Muller directly instructed the Einsatzgruppen to prevent crowding of spectators during mass executions. Himmler tasked Muller with ensuring all bodies were either buried or burned. In May 1942, Muller's superior and close friend Heydrich was assassinated in Prague by Czechoslovak soldiers dispatched from London. Muller was sent to Prague to head the investigation and used bribery and torture to identify the assassins who committed suicide to avoid being captured. Despite losing his main patron, Muller would continue his capacity to deport and execute thousands of people. At the request of Himmler, the Gestapo chief rounded up 40,000 forced labourers. Himmler and Muller would later no longer see eye to eye as Muller became increasingly wary of a growing resistance network within Germany, particularly the Army Intelligence Branch, Abwehr. When told to drop the case by Himmler, Muller became offended and later became a close ally of Himmler's main rival, Martin Bormann. After the attempted assassination of Hitler on the 20th of July 1944, Muller was given charge of arresting all those suspected of involvement in the resistance. After the anti-Nazi resistors were executed, he notoriously said, "We won't make the same mistake as in 1918. We won't leave our internal German enemies alive." Muller never doubted a German victory and had full confidence in the Ardennes offensive, claiming it would result in the recapture of Paris. As the Red Army encircled Berlin, high-ranking Nazi officials and loyalists gathered in the Führer bunker. One of Muller's final tasks was the interrogation of Hermann Fegelein, in order to find out what he knew of Himmler's attempted peace negotiations with the Allies. Trottel Junge, Hitler's secretary, recounted how she saw Muller on the 22nd of April 1945 occasionally chatting with Hitler in the bunker. The telephone operator Oberscharführer Rokas Misch testified that he saw Muller on the 30th of April 1945, still wearing his full uniform. Hitler committed suicide later that afternoon. It was unclear if Muller knew Hitler's intentions. Muller was last seen on the eve of the 1st of May 1945. No trace of him was found from then on. He is the most senior Nazi official whose fate remains shrouded in mystery. After the war, both the Soviets and Americans had a strong interest in pursuing Nazis. Documents obtained from the CIA in 2001 confirmed that despite their best efforts, the CIA could not locate or contact Muller. Their efforts were hampered by the fact that Heinrich Muller was a very common name and that there existed another general in the German army by the same name. There are numerous theories circulating around as to Muller's fate and whereabouts after the war. Many believe Muller availed of the rat lines and made his way to Argentina, as many Nazis did after the war. Walter Schellenberg alleged Muller had defected to the Soviets in 1945 and that a German officer had confirmed a sighting of him in 1948 in the Moscow area. The identity of this officer has never been confirmed. Furthermore, after Adolf Eichmann's capture in 1960, he believed that Muller was still alive, but revealed no specific information. Another man, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Gonanowski, the Deputy Chief of Polish Military Counterintelligence, defected to the US in 1961 and claimed that Muller had been picked up and sent to Moscow in 1950. West Germany investigated reports claiming Muller's body was buried in the days after Berlin fell. However, these reports were contradictory and it was not possible to confirm any of them. Another CIA investigation concluded the following. There are strong indications but no proof that Muller collaborated with the Soviets. There are also strong indications but no proof that Muller died in Berlin. The CIA were convinced Muller had survived the end of the war and was harboured by the Soviets. The biography of Himmler alleged that Himmler and Muller were seen together to the 11th of May 1945 as they attempted to escape the Allies on foot. They allegedly parted ways at Meinstedt and Muller was never seen again. In 1988, a 427-page document was leaked and claimed to be a CIC file containing a dossier, confirming Muller was retained as an intelligence advisor by the CIC. But the claims of this dossier are considered fake by historians. We may never know what happened to Muller, whether he escaped to South America and died there, or he died in Berlin at the fall of the Third Reich.